where we got cut off. But if you want, we do have a stream on Friday night for the Woods. For Into the Weird and Wild, which is an OSR system. We're going to be playing with Ben Milton's Knave, but we're going to be playing with Charles Ferguson Avery, who is the designer of that game, who's also a phenomenal artist. And I'm super excited to be playing that. Also, if you want us to stop having outages and having our streams die, just help support the channel financially. We don't believe that creators should have to pay for content, so we do everything that we do free. If you can go support us at +1exp.com by buying any of our games, bombs, any other things there. But if you want to support us directly, you can go to coffee.com/+1exp to help become a content champion and help us make great content for designers that hopefully doesn't die right in the middle of it. With that said, embarrassing time to pitch your stream. Let's go back and talk about those great other projects that y'all loved. So let's talk first to Nick. Nick, what is a project that you really love from ItchFunding? Well, also apparently one of my things dropped. Great. Go ahead and tell us about what that project is. Well, no, you're fine. It dropped one of the windows that lets everybody see the thing we're about to be talking about. So I'm gonna pop.
So I got a couple that I want to talk about. The first one is Bastards by Micah Anderson, which is Micah is an unbelievably infuriatingly good writer, and they do incredible layout work too. So Bastards is like a very, very rules light sort of OSR dungeon crawler type thing. It's just like it's like a 36 page, I think, A6 booklet that they're trying to get funded, and it looks beautiful. The layout makes me want to throw the things that I've made because it's so good. There's a tiny dungeon that they've also done with it, and it's just, honestly, it's like, I know everybody who kind of plays OSR games uses more or less the same. We're all making systems, and we're all playing the same systems that we've been playing for forever. But I think Mike has really hit it out of the head here on something that just like runs really smoothly and really just, sort of captures the feel of those like dragon games and stuff. And then the other one that I wanted to talk about was Sforb by Axes and Orcs. Sforb is, I don't really know how to describe Sforb other than
it's a Troika supplement.
It's a Troika supplement. It is absolutely surreal in the best sort of ways. It's funny. It's awe-inspiring. The layout is great. The writing is fantastic. It's a lot of fun. It's so dark. It's so dark, but it's so good. It's one of those things where you read it and you just, I get angry when I read things that I really like, because I'm like, how is somebody this good and why am I not? And Sforb, the whole time, it was just kind of a combination of me laughing really, really hard and trying not to wake the rest of the house up when I'm reading this at like 2 a.m. But also just being like, how is this that's like, it's like a genius shitpost in a Troika supplement. Like it's great. Anyway, Sforb, Axes and Orcs, incredible. I think Ian's doing a print run, or has already done a print run, or is doing a print run soon. I really hope so, just because it's one of those things that I want to prove to other people actually exists and isn't the product of like a fever dream, because it's just so cool and so out there. But yeah, Sforb.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, there's a couple of Troika Fest projects that came out and it's funded, and I think all of them have been offered by a fairly similar person to buy enough copies to make it worth doing a print run for all of ours. So Sforb is absolutely everything you said. I'm super excited about the project. I also, the page design for Bastards was what I showed my designer when we were doing layout for Divine Sublimation. So it's a killer project also. Adam, how about you?
Good. Yeah. I've been trying to think. I mean, we should shout out Greeblin's Journey again. We mentioned it kind of at the top, but a lovely little solo journaling game about a Greeblin on a journey. Thomas makes really good drawings, and the game is also cool. I think I'm trying to think because I have not been as plugged in as I'd like to be lately. But what I will shout out that I haven't seen or haven't heard anybody say is Time, Void, and Travel, which is a hack of Big Feather and Bone by Max Pfeffer. Max also did Hanukkah Goblins as like one of the early ItchFunding projects that doesn't that we did. We talked a lot about a lot of the early ones, but Max's Hanukkah Goblins is there. But Time, Void, Travel looks like a very cool spin on Big Feather and Bone, where you're kind of cutting up map bits and pasting them over each other in a couple of different styles.
Yeah, Time, Void, Travel is probably the one I feel like has not gotten anywhere near enough attention and deserves far more. I would absolutely encourage people to go check it out. It was one of the first ones that came out of the Big Feather and Bone Jam, and it's absolutely a phenomenal game. How about you, Keegan?
Yeah, I'll point out two. This one announced today is Misery, which is a virtual tabletop for Morkborg. It's just cool as hell.
What?
Yeah, it's
I saw that.
so it's a tabletop compatible Morkborg based thing that helps solo players and game masters. It gives them all the tools, lets them do what looks like a lot of stuff.
Okay, I never do this. I'm gonna hit play on this video and we're gonna watch this video.
There's a video.
Just going through some of the stuff. Is it just screenshots? We're only going to give it like a minute, but it's showing a little bit of functionality of it. This is very cool. I had missed this one entirely.
Yeah, it announced, as far as I know, earlier today. I think it was like 19 hours ago it went up.
The bouncing on this through my speakers is also pretty excellent. The musical track on this. Anyways, that's very cool. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I wish I could make software.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, it's ItchFunding. I'll put it up. Sure.
Yeah.
And then another really cool one I don't think we've talked about yet is Dungeon Commission's Alpha by Vivisection, which is, I think, just a really cool approach to doing something you can't really do on Kickstarter. So they've you can either get the game for free, which you just get the dungeons other people have paid for, or you can pay $50 and they'll make a dungeon for you that they then give out for free to everyone else. I think it's just a really cool approach to the platform I haven't seen anywhere else before, at least.
That's awesome. No, I've looked at Vivisection stuff a couple of times because we're going to be doing a bunch of Beards and Beyond two-page dungeons this year, and so I've thought about having Vivisection do one of those because I just think it'd be a blast. I would probably pay them more than the $50. I would probably commission them separately from that to do it. But it's one of the ones I've looked at because of that a couple times, and the dungeons are fun. And so awesome. I've been a huge fan of a lot of them. I want to shout out, I pulled it up already. One of the earliest projects was The Man and the Stag by Bo Jaguar Shelton, or Jaeger, sorry, Sheldon. And it's absolutely gorgeous. It has art from some of my favorite people. It's a fun concept on a game. It's about the interaction between humanity and nature, and I think people should go check it out. It has successfully funded, but I think it's always great to support artists. That means that Bo is also now in the place of being able to pay himself whenever somebody buys a copy. Like, it's not going to development or anything else like that. So, like, please go check this one out for sure. It was really early on project, and I just think it's absolutely great. So if anybody else has any questions, let us know. We would love to ask or talk about whatever y'all have. But just real quick, again, one more time, I want to encourage you to go check out the games of all the people that we have on stream today. That was Reliance, Interdependence and Inner Turmoil by Adam Bell. We've got In Extremis by Kegan Executable. And I actually moved to Into the Black, which, Nick, I have questions about this game afterwards because I do own this already. So I do own it, but I love the game and I love the art. But I do want to know more about what Into the Pink is because I couldn't find it anywhere on the internet. But that's a conversation we can just have afterwards off the.
Oh yeah.
But if you want to shout, I mean, like if there's an easy place to find it, I just couldn't find it anywhere online. And so I'm super excited to find out more about it. Please go check out all their games. If you want to, you can also, I don't even think I have it pulled up. Go check out Academy of Divine Sublimation, which is my Troika supplement. It's good for any OSR system. It's also, it's a bunch of weird kind of body horror alchemy is the way it ended up, which wasn't originally the intent. Not all of it's body horror. It's pretty mild. But rather than like helping hands, rather than like, having like weird hands appear around you and help you, you just sprout extra hands out of the side of your body and then they fall off painfully later on. And so, you get bonuses, but then you got extra arms you got to deal with. So if you're interested in that, if you like Troika, if you're into the OSR, any of those types of things, go check it out, please. With that said, again, if people, Keegan, want to follow your work, where is the best place for them to go find it?
Yeah, you can just find me at KeganExe.com or KeganExe.itch.io, but you can get the link from my website too.
Awesome. And then Nick, for people who want to follow your work, what's the best place to do that?
So the retail for if you want to pick up indie RPG zines in Canada, it's monkeyspawgames.com. Otherwise, monkeyspawgames at itch.io or DriveThruRPG or just on Twitter. I think I have a link tree or something with everything up, just at monkeyspawgames on Twitter.
Awesome. And then Adam, for you, where's the best place for people to be able to follow all your work?
Yeah, you can just go to adamebell.games to get to my itch page, or tune into the call-in show on Sunday at 1 p.m. at twitch.tv/adamebell. Talk about games.
Yeah, if you have not checked out the Tabletop Call-In show yet, I am upset about the earlier time because it makes it way harder for me to tune in. But I do love listening to it later either way. I just can't call in and ask all my important questions. Ulysses just showed up and said, "Oh, good, I'm not late this time." No, Ulysses, we're totally ending right now. However, it should be available on instant replay. Also, the go live notification you just saw was when our stream got cut in half right in the middle, and we had to come back from. So I'll stitch these two together later on and get them taken care of. But if awesome. If you want to find anything we do, you can find us at +1exp. You can find us at +1exp.itch.io. You can go to +1exp.com and find all our work. You can also go to coffee.com/+1exp to help support the channel starting this week, because I need to get it done this week. We're going to start doing some of our first giveaways. We'll have some other stuff up there. And then the final version of Academy of Divine Sublimation will also be available to all the people who support us monthly there. And I just found out they're about to have normal monthly tiers on Coffee, which I am incredibly thankful for. So we'll be developing some of those. Also, all that money goes to support our staff members, actually not me, but our graphic designer and our editor. We already pay them, but I would love to pay them better and more. So if you can help support us there, please do. It'll help support our team and help grow the channel also too. With that said, I don't have a sign off for anything that we do except for one thing, and I didn't even come up with that one. Somebody else did. So we're just going to wave at the screen until I take us off air. We're not done yet.